Good afternoon. It's your boy here. Today, as you can see, I have on my uniform. We're going to do a few basics, review a few basic blocks and things of that nature, go over a few, I like to call them self-defense practicums or personal protection practicums, things out here that could help you benefit, even though if you're a novice, a beginner, experienced, no matter what your level is. I believe in teaching. I believe in training. That is my background. That's what I do most. That's what I do best. So it's all about the realism. It's all about what's going to actually benefit you, because I'm going to tell you this. The age-old question, especially as it relates to martial arts, has always been, which style is the best? So to answer that question, I will say this. The best style is whatever you put into it and whatever your expectations are from training. The manifestation of any art, any skill, is your perspective and acceptance of the things that you teach and how much you put into what you do. So don't let nobody tell you that MMA is the best. Don't let nobody tell you that karate is the best, jiu-jitsu's the best, judo's the best, kempo's the best, Wing Chun is the best, Krav Maga is the best. Don't let anybody tell you anything differently, because it's all about, number one, the person training you and what your perspective and how you receive those techniques and how it translates and manifests through you, because martial arts training is about oneself. It's not a competition. It's not about any other thing. So if you understand that philosophy, then you will receive the techniques a lot better than just out here doing things just for the sake of doing it. So that's what I'm about, all right? So as you all know, those of you that's been rocking with me for a while, every time I go over these basic blocks and things of that nature, it's always starting from the ground floor. So some people say, well, why learning how to block before you learning how to strike? Because if you can stop a person from touching you, or you can minimize the damage that you receive, you're in a much better place to defend yourself. That's what I'm all about. So that's why we start here at the ground floor with the basic blocks, okay? So once again, I will show you how to make a proper fist, because as you make a proper fist, it's one of the key components of blocking, especially on a novice and beginner level. So once again, that step, they're here as follows. It's 3 steps. You hold your fist out here. Bend your 4 fingers down into your palm, wrap them up around your knuckle till you see a slight slope here, promoting striking with the first 2 knuckles of your fist. Okay? You do the same with the other hand. Down, here, here, promoting striking with the first 2 knuckles. Now the reason we do that is because when we block, our fists are going to be balled up properly. Therefore, I want your fist to be properly held. This is not correct. This is not correct. This is not correct. This is not correct. So in order to achieve the maximum benefits, you must do things properly, okay? Many of you that know that I train, I teach, I've been doing this for 28 solid years. Yes, 28 solid years. My background is in karate. My background is Goju-Ryu, which is a style and system that was adopted by the Americans that came here by a man named Peter Urban, who later passed it down to Frank Ruiz, which headed the Nishi Goju-Ryu system for a while. Those of you that are familiar with Nishi Goju-Ryu, you know about the fighters back in the days. My instructor, Grandmaster Terry Elliott Sr., roots are in Nishi Goju-Ryu among an array of other styles. And after certain time, he was awarded the opportunity to start the 4th generation of what's called USA Goju-Ryu. So that's a little bit about my style, my system. I'll give you a brief history lesson in a more later date so you can actually understand how martial arts even got to the United States and what it has become now in this day and age. So stay tuned for that also. So before you train with anybody, you must know their history, their background, their credentials. What do they bring to the table? You got people out here, man, that have been on quote unquote self-defense seminars. They've been on online training, and they come out here, they open up schools and businesses, and these are the people that you're learning from. So you have to be careful. All right. So again, we already know the basic foundations, right? Basic foundations are balance, feet. Okay. So we all know, remember, you don't stand with your feet here. One foot is off slightly, right? You have one foot slightly off. For me, it doesn't matter whether my left foot is forward or my right foot is forward because we train on both sides. But for all intents and purposes, let's say most of us are right-handed, which means our left foot will be slightly forward, just like someone out in the street. Most people, 80%, 90% of the people in the world are right-handed, all right? So for us, and I challenge you to ask some people this question. In training and I'm learning how to block, which hand does it matter which arm I start with first, and the reasons why? Most people, they'll tell you, well, it really don't matter which hand because some people start off certain ways. But if they're real astute and they've been trained properly and they have a little bit of seasoning behind them, the reason why I start primarily with my left hand first in blocking is because most people are right-handed. Therefore, if an attack is coming from me, their right side, that attack is coming off their right side, which is my left. So to my defense, if I'm standing here, I don't know if you can see my feet, but they're slightly off balance, and a person was throwing a punch at me, it's going to be 9 times out of 10 is going to be coming from their right side, which means I'm going to be blocking, defending, evading, or doing whatever, primarily with my left hand. So that's the reason why I start with the left hand, okay? So the blocks go as simple. We have regions, upper, midsection level, okay, and then lower level. So we always start from the ground floor, which is with the high block. High blocks, again, it starts from here, comes up across your face, palm will be facing outward, and it will end up over your head. Now, watch my wrist. Not like this, not on top of your head, not here, and your wrist is not here. Your wrist is slightly turned upward, and it's at the highest point because you want to stop the technique at its highest point. So when the block is executed, it starts from this position here, comes up over your face, up to the highest point, and your other hand becomes here in chamber. What is chamber again? Chamber is a position of a body part to execute a strike. So if I block here, next I'm striking here. Look where this hand came back to, chamber. If I wanted to block here, still hand is in chamber. If I wanted to switch and block here, hand is in chamber. So that's the reason why we do that. So when we put it all together, you're here. Now, once you incorporate both hands, it looks like this. The hand that's blocking will always be on the outside. The hand that is coming into chamber will be on the inside. So it will come up, almost forming like an X block here, switching up to overhead to here. Now when I switch, the right hand will come to the outside while the left hand comes down. It will now come up and block here. Slowly, it looks like this. Slowly, it looks like this. Slowly, it looks like this. Once you get that down, once you learn that, it looks like this. Here, 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 here. Okay? Once you get that down, you play with it. That is basic high block. That is designed for anything, any crazy wild attack that's coming overhand, you know, as that thing is coming down, you're stepping into it. And it's also called a rising block because it is rising from the ground upward to over your head, okay? Next, you have outside blocks. Outside blocks are designed to stop attacks that come from around, out in the street. We like to call them the wild hook punches. For ladies, people, you know, men that may like to slap you, whatever the case may be. So that block is executed here. Again, starting from the ground level, comes up in a half circle motion, comes up, across your face. Your palm is now facing you, not outward this way. It's facing you, and it stops on the outside of your face, stopping any potential attack from coming from the outside. The other hand, once again, the hand that is blocking, so on the outside. Hand that is blocking is on the outside, right? Hand that is blocking is on the outside. So now we're going to put those 4 blocks together, all right? It goes like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? So, those are the 4 basic blocks of what we call the 8-point blocking system. Okay? So what is the 8-point blocking system? The 8-point blocking system is merely 4 blocks, 1, 2, outside, 3, inside, 4, low block. When we put them together, it equals 8. The other block is repeated. Outside, outside, inside, inside. Down block or low block, down block or low block. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And that is the 8-point blocking system. Let's go over it one more time so you'll know the rhythm, you'll know how it's done, and you can work on it and practice it for yourself. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now notice each time that I block, that hand, opposite hand, goes into chamber. Okay? The reason why that is important, because once you block, or whatever you decide to do, you're going to be striking, whether it's elbows, coming across the face, palm strikes, knife hands, chops, whatever. The other hand is going to be ready for execution. So, 8-point blocking system, basic blocks, that's what it's all about. All right? Now let's get into a little bit of theory, practicums. Okay? So we already know about our balance, right? What is our balance? How we are able to move, flow, right? So I'm not saying you be exaggerated. You're never going to be like this in this type of stance where you're in a position of ready to fight. If I'm talking to someone and I'm engaged with someone out on the street, and let's say we've all been in those situations, or we've seen them. You may have seen them on YouTube, guys getting ready to fight and they squaring off. One way you can learn about a skilled fighter. Most guys in the street, if you ever watch some YouTube videos and pull them up, they're like this. What's up? What's up? Come on. Yeah, come on. They're right-handed, but their right leg is forward. in a southpaw stance because they feel, because that's their strong side, they must be on that side. But if you're a real fighter, this is my side. I'm here. My left foot is forward. And I'm not sitting here talking about what's up. No over exaggerating. No me pumping my chest out, telling you how bad I am and what I'm going to do to you. It's simple. I'm standing here. Look here, man. I apologize for whatever I've done. I apologize. I don't need to prove myself to anybody for anything. But notice where my hands are. My feet are offset. If that person is in front of me, standing here, I'm going to slightly move over this way. And I'm going to be right here. If they don't move, it's on them. But if I'm here and that person happens to move here, I'm going to move here. If they move again, I'm going to move with them. I'm never going to be head up with that person. I'm going to blade their body. I'm going to reposition myself. Now, I've just created what's called angles and space, right? So some of you have heard me talk about my formula before. You got to be bad, right? B-A-D. Balance, angles, and distance. That is a very important formula to have in learning how to protect yourself. Once again, bad, balance, angles, and distance. So if a person is standing in front of me, I blade their body. First of all, I got good balance because my groundwork, my foundation is solid. I'm good, okay? I've created an angle by blading that person's body. My distance is for both fingertips, 360 degrees around. That is my comfort zone. Anything outside that circle gives me reaction time. If they're inside that circle, which most times we're pretty much going to be intimate because that person wants to invoke their superiority over you. They want to project their loud voice and tell you what they're going to do to you. So they're going to be trying to get close to you. So they're going to invade your personal space. So if you don't have anywhere to go, you may end up like this. So what do? So as that person is here, I'm blading that person. Now that person has to come back to me because what I've just did is I just created an angle. I have my distance because they're on the outside. Now, if they react, I have reaction time. I'm not standing there flat-footed. How many times have we seen it? Some guy gets rushed, he gets picked up, he gets dumped to the ground, and the stomp commences. I don't want anybody to be a victim of that. So if you understand and know those principles, you've already known half the battle. You know half the battle. Balance, angles, and distance, right? Again, I'm right here. Listen, bro, my bad. I apologize. No need. All right, if he's moving this way, I'm moving this way. No need. He's moving this way, I'm moving this way. But the moment he moved, now I'm ready. Now the difference between what I may do in a situation as opposed to a novice, beginner, someone who is just picking up self-defense and they're training and they start to get into this, again, you got 3 ways of avoiding confrontation. Number 1 is of dealing with confrontation, I must say. Number 1 is try to avoid it at all costs. Regardless of your skill level, try to avoid it at all costs. Number 2, after you try to avoid it, you may have some type of way to deflect or react if you've been training for a little while and you feel good about your skill level. You may have some kind of deflection or avoidance. And number 3, which is probably what I would do, is intercept. Intercept or engage the potential threat. Because I've been doing this over 28 years, I'm confident in my ability to protect myself. I don't claim to be the baddest person in the world. I don't claim that what I know and what I do works for every situation. However, what I do know is whatever they think they know, they better know it as well as I know what I know. That's all I'm saying. So, in that situation, you have avoidance, deflecting or evading, intercepting or engaging. It's 3 ways. I prefer the first, avoid it altogether. But sometimes you don't have that opportunity and that ability, and what are you going to do? So here again, herein lies the question: what do we learn? How do we learn? What do we teach? What is being taught to us? All of those things now become into factor. What I love is I love sometimes the ridiculous questions that I'm asked, or when I see certain techniques being talked about or explained. We've all seen them, the legendary choke, front choke, when a person grabs you and chokes you from the front. The wrist grabs or wrist breaks, things of that nature, where someone's demonstrating a technique and the person steps up and they throw a punch, and then from there the guy grabs the wrist, he breaks the elbow, dislocates the shoulder, kicks him in the stomach, hits him on the back of the head. Meanwhile, the guy's just standing there going along for the ride. When in theory and practice and reality, person's not just going to swing at you, stand there to be a test dummy, and then allow you to do what you do. It doesn't work that way, people. So you better have some, this is where knowing the body, how the body flows, the rhythmic components of what we do when we train and how we learn, how all of those things tie in together to make you more adept at protecting yourself. So what does that mean? The flow of the body. That means if I'm standing here and an attacker is approaching me, I've already bladed the body. So when they step or whatever they decide to do, they throw that wild punch with their right hand, I am going to move. Now look at the flow of my body. What's coming this way? I got all type of things. I have punches, I have strikes, I have knees, I have short front snap kicks right to the groin area or to the knee. I have all these different things at my disposal, right? When I come in here, I come across with the elbow, I flow around and grab the head. I have so many things at my disposal. But what I'm trying to do is eliminate the threat. Not trying to fight with a person 5 minutes. Whatever I hit and touch, I'm going to hurt or I'm going to break. It's just that simple. And I'm not saying that to say whatever. It's just, I know what I'm doing. I know my strength. I know my power. I know my technique. Which leads me to my second formula. TSP. Technique plus speed equals power. Technique plus speed equals power. I know my technique. I work on it daily. Not every other day, not whatever. No, daily. This is a part of my life. I know what I know. So therefore, when I throw a punch or whatever I decide to do, trust me, it's coming with bad intentions because you have bad intentions on hurting me. So I don't have time to play with you. So whatever I'm going to do, it's going to be with bad intentions. Because guess what? In real life, I have to go home. I have to make it home to my family. When you're inside your training facility, there are rules. You are not going to eye gouge. You're not going to bust up someone's lip. You're not going to break their ribs and all of that stuff because we got families and jobs. We got to go home. But out there on the street, in reality, there are no rules. But you have a family and people that care about you that you have to make it home to. That's what I'm about. That's what I believe in giving you. The realism of what it is you can do to protect yourself. So this is just a little bit of something. Work on those blocks. I hope you're enjoying it. I'm going to start having some demonstrations going live so you can actually see these things in real time and real with real movement to about as real as you can get so you can understand it more clearly and see it more clearly. But just listen to the words and hearing how I'm describing, how I'm talking about what I say, you can still learn. So don't think just because you don't see me in front of anybody or anything that you can't learn. Learn those movements. Learn that flow of the body. Learn how it works. Once you do that, guess what? It's all good. You learn those things and you become better at protecting yourself, your family, your loved ones. Trust me, it's a beautiful thing. So one more time, we're gonna go over those blocks. It's called the 8-point blocking system, and it's here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Once again, feet are separated, slightly staggered. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Remember the formulas. Bad, balance, angles, distance. Remember the second formula, TSP, technique plus speed equals power. Remember those two formulas. Remember those basic blocks. Again, it's right here. Simple. High block. Hand is always in chamber, ready to do something. The hand that's blocking will always be on the outside. It's like you're wiping off. Here. See that? Here. Right here. And you become proficient with it. You play with it over, and over. Again, wrist is not here. Pointed out on the high block, slightly bent here. There's a reason. Same way here to the outside here, stopping on the outside of your face, not right here, outside of your face. Because if you stop here, person slaps you, guess what? You can still get hit. Catch it here from the outside. All right? So those are the basics. Remember that 8-point blocking system. 2 formulas I've given you today. Bad, balance, angles, distance, and TSP. Technique plus speed equals power. And last but not least, in a confrontational situation, we got 3 ways to avoid it based on our experience and where we are. Avoid it altogether. You have some training, you're good at deflecting and redirecting and engaging and stopping initial attacks. Or you can intercept and engage. Intercept and engage means I don't retreat backwards. I don't go this way. Once I blade that body and that person is coming, whatever they're gonna do, when they make their mind up, they better be ready. Because I'm not running back here. My movement is coming towards that threat. But again, that's because I have 28 years of experience and I'm comfortable in getting intimate with someone. You're a novice, you're a beginner. Don't run out here learning something in your training facility, wherever that may be, and run out here thinking that you're a badass all of a sudden. Don't make that mistake. Our training environment is just that. It's an environment to train so we can get better, work on our skills, put them in our Batman belt, and be on our way. But out here in the real street, you got to go home. So it's no rules. So remember that. I hope you guys are enjoying these sessions. Like I said, got some more self-defense and what I like to call personal protection coming. But until next time, it's your boy Peace. Until next time.